प्रसीद प्रसीद मातः जगतोऽखिलस्य प्रसीद विश्वेश्वरि पाहि विश्वं त्वमीश्वरी देवी चराचरस्य त्वं वैष्णवी शक्तिरनन्तवीर्या विश्वस्य बीजं परमासि माया सम्मोहितं देवि समस्तमेतत् त्वं वै प्रसन्ना भुवि मुक्तिहेतुः।
ॐ गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ श्रीमात्रे नमः. We continue with Devi Mahatmyam. We have finished the story of Madhukaitaba and the destruction of Madhukaitaba by Mahavishnu. Now we are into chapter 2 and 3 of the Devi Mahatmyam, which deals with the Mahishasura Vadha. That means slaying Mahishasura's army and also Mahishasura. I was wondering whether to give the word-to-word translation of the slokas or to tell the story. After much thinking, I thought it is better to tell the story so that the whole family can enjoy. My goal is that the whole family connect with Devi, the Divine Mother, during this festival. So if the story is told, then the children or the adults, both of them can listen and listen to the slokas with transcendence. Now, as you are listening to this story, you will feel that it is very violent story. So much of killing and so much of violence. Here, let us follow the guidelines given by Mahadeva in the Kilaka Stotram. He is said to pin Mahadevi with each sloka, to pin her conscious form or the transcendental conscious form with each sloka, so that your focus and your mind is with Devi and not with the violence that is going on. Mahishasura is a very powerful asura, and his army and his generals are as powerful as he is. So naturally, it has been a very hard battle for Mahadevi. And this difficult job Devi takes on just to vanquish these asuras, save the devas, and save the cosmos. And so then we begin to understand that if she is doing so much to save the devas and to save the Vedas and to save the cosmos, then how much more will she do for us, for our own evolution, for our own happiness, and for our liberation. So again, just listen to the story and enjoy it, and then listen to the recitation of the slokas in the chapter 2 and 3. In the Puranas, the boons and the curses seem to be an integral part of these stories. Now let's begin. Mahishasura is born to the king of Asuras named Rambha. Rambha is a very mighty Asura, and he had the boons from Brahma. And these boons made him invincible among devas and asuras. But he did not ask to be invincible with animals. Again, once Rambha got all these boons, he began a rampage of fear and destruction, and he started killing all living beings, whoever came in his path. One day, he was roaming in the garden of Yaksha, and he met the beautiful female buffalo, Mahishi. She was actually the princess Shyamala, and she was cursed by a sage to be a buffalo. So Rambha fell in love with this buffalo, and he transformed himself into a male buffalo so that he would be accepted by her. Now, these asuras had these powers. They could actually change forms whenever they wanted. But all too soon, a real buffalo discovered Rambha in the crowd and killed him, as Rambha did not have the immunity against animals. He asked Brahmadeva to have the immunity against devas and asuras, but he forgot about the animals. Now, through their union, Mahishi became pregnant, and at Rambha's funeral rites, she threw herself into the funeral pyre. Out of these flames sprang a mighty beast with the head of a buffalo, and he had the body of a human. And this was Mahishasura with the head of a buffalo and body of a human. And being born from alliance of Asura and buffalo, he could also change his forms at will. And as Mahishasura grew up, then he wanted to be very powerful, and on the advice of his guru, he started a severe penance. He practiced severe austerities, meditating on Brahma. For months and years together, he was fasting, and he stood on one foot, and he stopped eating or consuming food and water. He kept his entire focus on nothing but Brahmadeva, and over the course of time, ant hills began to form over his massive body. These ant hills became like a big mound and covered the Asura completely. Many great vines crept all over the ant hill. The power of his austerities was such that flames began to emanate from his being, and foul smoke arose from these flames. The earth began to tremble, and all the three worlds started trembling. Many natural calamities started happening, and all the natural elements were greatly disturbed. Now, before I go further, it's important to understand that this is not a sattvic tapas. This is not a sattvic penance. Normally, sattvic penance is it's a blissful path. There is no need to make the body suffer so much, and you transcend within yourself in order to experience the bliss consciousness. And the vibrations of this kind of a tapas, especially experiencing the bliss consciousness, then naturally brings a lot of bliss and harmony in the environment. All the elements become orderly and harmonious, and there is celebration in the nature. But here this penance is so tamasic and rajasic, that the whole of the harmony in the nature got disturbed. Brahmadeva, however, was pleased by his efforts and by his penance, and he came and he appeared before him and asked him to ask for a boon. Then Mahisha asked for immortality, and Brahmadeva said, "You cannot have immortality because every creature that is born has to die." So then Mahisha said, "Okay, no man should be able to kill me. No devas or asuras should be able to kill me. I should not face death even in the hands of the Holy Trinity, which is Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. And if I have to die, then let me die in the hands of a woman." Because he assumed that a woman will be much weaker than him because he is so strong, and felt assured in his heart that no woman would be able to kill him. Now Mahishasura, having received the boon, considered himself invincible. He was all puffed up. Free from fear of death, he began amassing a great army. Sikshura was the commander-in-chief of his army, and he is known as a very valiant Rakshasa. The other chief warriors in his army were Asiloma, Uttaraka, Bidala, Bashkala, Trinetra, Kalabandhaka, and all of these were as mighty and as powerful as Mahishasura himself. So Mahishasura, with his powerful army, started invading all the neighboring kingdoms, conquered them, and soon he became the emperor of the entire earth. Once the conquest of earth was accomplished, then Mahisha called a council of his generals and expressed his desire to conquer the devas who occupied the Swargaloka or the heaven. Actually, the devas and the asuras are cousins. They have the same father, sage Kashyapa. I will go into a little bit detail at the end of the story. So he told his army, Brahmadeva himself has guaranteed me victory over our foes. Death cannot approach me through these gods. And so let us make preparations and let us march on Amaravati, the capital of Indra, at daybreak. So all the assembled asuras welcomed this statement and shouted with joy. At the dawn of the next day, Mahisha performed a very great yagya, and then he honored his Guru Shukra. His Guru Shukra is not only a sage, but he is also a planet. That means he is also a devata in this natural law. And this is the planet Venus. So Mahishasura sought his blessings and then ordered his army to march towards the Amaravati. Ahead of the army, he also sent an emissary and issued a formal declaration of war to the Devas. When Indra, the king of the Devas, the Devatas, heard the message, he had a private council of the principal Devas, including Yama, Vayu, Varuna and Agni. And he told them, the son of Asura Rambha is marching to conquer us, and he has given us two choices: either to fight him in the war or to accept him as our emperor and we become his servants. So he asked for their opinion. Then they decided to get the advice of their guru, who is Brihaspati. Brihaspati is also not only a sage, but also he is the planet. He is the planet Jupiter, and he is one of the important devatas in this natural law. Brihaspati is the illustrious son of Angirasa, who is also a great sage. When Brihaspati arrived, then Indra went forward to welcome his guru and had him placed on the highest seat in the assembly hall. After washing his feet and offering him worship, then Indra conveyed the message that Mahishasura is about to invade Amaravati. He asked his guru, just as Shukra is advising the Asuras and protecting them against harm with his yogic powers, please protect us with the power of your penance. O Guru, without your protection, we cannot hope for victory. Then Brihaspati said, do not fear. Victory does not always go to the mightier force. It is not guaranteed by superior intellect, nor by any yagyas. Only the gods can guarantee victory to those whom they favor. So you go to Brahmadeva and gain his favor. With him on your side, you will be able to face the mighty Asura army. So accordingly, all the main devas, the retinue, went to Brahmaloka along with Indra. And this Brahmaloka is the abode of Brahmadeva. And so there they praised Lord Brahma, and then they prayed to him to help against the Asuras. Then Brahmadeva said, I have given him a boon that he has nothing to fear from anyone except a woman, and I have no power to go against this boon, so I am helpless. So let us go to Kailasa, the abode of Shiva, and ask him for the help in this matter. Accordingly, the Devas and Brahmadeva went to the abode of Shiva, Kailasha. Again they prayed to him. Then Bhagavan Shiva said, let us also take the counsel of Bhagavan Vishnu. And so all of them then went to Vaikuntha, which is Bhagavan Vishnu's abode. So Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva decided to help the Devas, and then the two armies met in the battlefield. Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, they fought for the Devas mounted on their respective vehicles. Now, in one corner of the field, a fierce battle took place between Yama and a Rakshasa named Tamra. And this Tamra is as powerful as Mahisha. And whatever the blows he was getting from Yama's tanda or the staff did not really affect this Tamra. Besides, this Tamra took up his bow and arrows and started harassing all the devas, including Indra. At last, the Asura was rendered unconscious by a divine missile. When Mahishasura saw that one of his favorite warriors had fallen on the battlefield, then he took up his great mace and renewed the assault upon the devas. He possessed a demonic power which is called Shambhari, and he could create thousands and thousands of clones of his own self. And these innumerable thousands of clones then attacked the army of the gods, and they were struck with fear when they saw this incomprehensible demonic feat. Now, till this time, the three gods, the Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara, did not take any active part in the battle. So now, Indra asked the three gods to help him. Immediately, the three gods, known as the Trinity, appeared in the battlefield, and now Mahishasura's generals Asiloma, Trinetra, Bashkala, Andhaka and many others appeared at the same time on the field so as to defeat the gods. When Bhagavan Vishnu saw that the devas were being so fully harassed, he faced Mahisha in the battle. He hit the Asura on the head with his famous mace known as Kaumodaki. He was stunned by the force of the blow, and the king of the Asuras fell down in a swoon. However, he quickly regained consciousness, and then he changed his form from a buffalo and assumed the form of a lion. Bhagavan Vishnu got angry and tried to behead him with his discus, the Sudarshana Chakra. But because of the boon given by Brahmadeva, the Sudarshana Chakra was powerless against him. And so Mahisha then rushed to Bhagavan Vishnu and knocked him down with his blows. Then Bhagavan Vishnu understood that he was helpless because of Brahma's boon, and so he retired from the battlefield and returned to his abode in Vaikuntha. Now, seeing Vishnu Bhagavan leave the battlefield, then Shiva and Brahmadeva also realized that their efforts would be futile. So they also abandoned the battlefield and left to their abode. The devas became disheartened, and great fear entered their hearts, and they could no longer fight as effectively as before. Indra tried to attack Mahisha with his Vajrasana, his supreme weapon, but because of Brahma's boon, the missile did not work. Then Mahisha assumed the form of a giant buffalo, a huge size, and harassed the gods with his horns and hooves. Now the Devas and Gandharvas, who were not able to face this fury, then just ran away, leaving their posts. And this included Indra, Kubera and Yama also. Now Mahishasura was unopposed, and in his invincible army entered Amaravati. The Asura installed himself on the great throne of King Indra in Amaravati. He then appointed all the trusted generals in the posts occupied by the principal Devas. Now the Devas fled from heaven and then started wandering in the mountains and forests on the earth. And many years went by like this. Now I will stop here for today and we will continue with the story tomorrow. Now I will add a few words about sage Kashyapa. Kashyapa is a revered Vedic sage and he is one of the Saptarishis. His parents are Marichi and Kala. So father is Marichi and mother is Kala. And Marichi is a great sage himself. He was also a great scholar in Atharva Veda, and it is said that he lived in the northwestern part of the Indian subcontinent. And some of the stories say that the region of Kashmir is derived from his name. It is said that Kashmir came from Kashyapa Meru, or the sacred mountains of Kashyapa, and so Kashmir is the shortened name. Kashyapa means turtle in Sanskrit, and he is one of the Saptarishis along with Atri, Vasishta, Vishwamitra, Jamadagni, Bharadvaja and Gautama. The role of great sage Kashyapa was to help with the expansion of creation. He was ordained by Brahmadeva to help with the expansion of the creation. So Kashyapa married 13 of Daksha Prajapati's daughters. So Daksha Prajapati was the ruler of the earth at that time. And their names were Aditi, Diti, Danu, Arishta, Surasa, Khasa, Surabhi, Vinata, Tamra, Krodhavasha, Ira, Kadru and Muni. 12 Devas were born to Aditi through Kashyapa, and their names were Vishnu, Shakra, Aryama, Dhata, Vidhata, Tvashta, Pusha, Vivashvana, Savita, Mitravaruna, Amsha and Bhaga. Now these 12 gods, the Devas, are also known as the Adityas. We know Aditya as Sun Bhagavan, Surya Bhagavan, and now these are the 12 Adityas. From Diti were born the Daityas, which had the demonic qualities. So the first in the progeny were Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. And then they have the various descendants after them. Then from Danu came the 100 sons who were called Danavas. And these Danavas are also like the Daityas. They had more demonic qualities, but they were also mixed. So in this Danava line, the famous demons like Paulama and Kalakeya are known. From Arishta, the Gandharvas came. These are the celestial singers in the heaven. From Surasa came the serpents, which are called Sarpa. And from Khasa came the Yakshas, who are known as the demigods and who are companions of Kubera, the god of wealth, and also the Rakshasas, who also had demonic qualities. And from Surabhi came the descendants of the cows and the buffaloes. And from Vinita came the birds known as Aruna and Garuda. And Garuda is known as the king of birds, and he is the vehicle for Bhagavan Vishnu. From Tamara came 6 daughters, and from these daughters were born all the other animals and birds like owls, eagles, vultures, crows, waterfowl, horses, camels, donkeys, etc. From Krodavasha came the 14,000 children known as Nagas. These are snakes, but they are known as Nagas. Now from Ila came the trees, the creepers, the shrubs and the bushes. And from Kadru came the famous serpents like Ananta, Vasuki, Takshaka and Nahusha. And from Muni came the Apsaras who became the celestial dancers in heaven. There seemed to be this continued power struggle between the Devas and then the Asuras. So they are born from the same father, but they had different qualities and different gunas. And naturally the Devas who were shining, Deva means shining and illumined, became the whole part of the administration by Bhagavan Vishnu, cosmic administration by Bhagavan Vishnu, with Indradeva as their head and Amaravati as the capital of Indra. It is said that there are 33 crores of Devatas. So naturally Bhagavan Vishnu would protect the Devas because they were concerned with the constitution of the universe, the cosmic administration, and maintaining the natural law and innumerable natural laws and protection of the Vedas. So because of this, then Bhagavan Vishnu became an enemy, a perpetual enemy to the Asuras. And everything that Bhagavan Vishnu represented was opposed by them. The Vedas, the Vedic rituals, the Dharma or the natural laws, and all the devotees of Bhagavan Vishnu, the sages and the pandits, etc., all became their enemies. And so naturally, because of this power struggle, there were time to time battles raged between the Asuras and the Devas. Once they would conquer the Asuras, and then the Asuras would take revenge and then conquer the Devas. And many a time Devi, the Divine Mother, came to rescue them. Now one might wonder, why is all this variety? The variety in the creation is because of the gunas. Because of the variety in the gunas, different proportions and different degrees of these gunas, then the variety came. Then the variety also came because of the degrees in proportion with the elements. So the gunas and the doshas born of elements created the whole vast variety in the creation. Now again, if we look at the creation, Adi Shakti is the creator, original creator, and from her came all the gods and the goddesses. And then the further streams of creation have been created. But she is the underlying source. She is the first creator. So she is the Shakti in all. And the Shiva is again the absolute pure consciousness. So it is the Shiva and the Shakti manifesting through all these different channels. All these natural laws and all this dharma and all this cosmic administration was meant to bring harmony, and but still we see there is disharmony among these asuras and the devas, and this is only the play of the gunas. And that is why to be enlightened one has to go beyond the gunas. One has to go beyond the gunas and then experience the pure self and the pure bliss, and then be Jivan Mukta. So I will end here today. Jai Gurudev, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu.